this is a new review that I'm pretty excited about. I've been wanting to get my hands on one of these for a while. This is an 8-inch ConcertCast single zone mesh trigger pad made by Pintech. They're available in many different places online. Most of the online music retailers sell these. This one was sent to me by New England Music Supply. So I'm going to do a quick review, compare it against my Roland PDX-8 in terms of noise level, sensitivity. I'm going to throw it on my Ion drum rocker kit and show you what it looks like when it's used in freestyle mode, and how it looks when it's played in the game. So like I mentioned, this is an 8-inch trigger pad. Of course, that 8 inches is in diameter. It is a mesh. The head is a single ply mesh head, actually licensed from Roland but made by Evans, so it's all American made. The pad, the mesh, everything is American made. The shell is all metal. This one is black, but it comes in two different designs, black and a gray. So the shell is all one piece, and then you've got lugs holding on the hoop, which of course hold on the drum head. The mounting is, this one has a star knob, which mounts onto a standard L rod on your electronic drum kit. There is another mounting option, is a lever lock, which is like $10 extra, $12, something like that. And then you've got your plug right here, a standard 1/4 inch plug, and since this is single zone, just a standard 1/4 inch mono cable is what you would use to plug this in. It is hollow, of course, inside, except for this one column of foam, which you can't really see very well, but it's right there. That connects the head to the piezo, which is mounted directly underneath. Now I'm going to go ahead and mount this Pintech pad on my rack for my Ion kit in place of my green pad. If you've seen my Roland PDX-8 video, then you already know how to do this because it's exactly the same. If you haven't, I will link it right here. But if you have not watched it and you want to see me do it here, I'll go ahead. All you have to do is unplug your Ion pad, easy enough, take it off, and then this L rod here, you're going to need to flip it vertical. So you unscrew here and turn it vertical, tighten this back up, take your Pintech pad, drop it down on there, tighten the star, and you're done. And then the cable plugs in right here. That's it. And since I have a PDX-8 here for comparison, I can show you them side by side. The playing surface on both is actually exactly the same. You've got 8 inches here, you've got 8 inches on the mesh here. The only reason the PDX-8 looks bigger is because you've got this extra 1-inch plastic rim here, but of course that's not a playable surface. So the playable surface is exactly the same size on both. And sound-wise, if you play them side by side, now my camera is about 3 feet away from both. Sound-wise, the Pintech pad is actually a lot quieter than the Roland V-drum pad. So here I'll play them both about the same, with about the same force. And then I'll kind of move around the Ion pad so you can compare them too. Though if you have some, you know what they sound like. Now, one of the key differences between these two pads, especially when it comes to using them in Rock Band, is the placement of the sensor. Now, as I pointed out earlier, the placement of the Pintech pad sensor is directly in the middle. The placement of the Rolands is offset. It's actually right here underneath the logo, or at least it's directly opposite where it's mounted. So the sensor is here, which means if you hit it directly over the sensor in Rock Band, you're going to get a good strike, but if you hit it near the center, you're of course hitting further away, and you're going to have to hit it with more force to get a good good spark out of the game. With the Pintech pad, of course, you're supposed to hit it towards the middle, and you're used to hitting it towards the middle, so when you hit it right on top of that sensor, you're going to get a really good velocity strike out of the game. And I'll demonstrate that for you here. One other key thing to point out is that the Pintech pad actually has a sensitivity knob right here next to the plug. Now, I've got it, turned all the way up because there's really no reason not to when you're using it with your Ion controller. So even if you don't hit right on top of the sensor, you can hit here, and tiny little strikes are still going to register. Now if you hit directly on top of the sensor, everything you do is going to register. Even if you just let the stick drop, the first hit and all the little teeny hits after that are all going to register with the game. As opposed to with the Roland pad, if you do that directly in the middle, the first one will register, maybe the second and third one, but after that, all those little taps don't. Now if you do it directly over the sensor on the Roland pad, it's a different story. But with the Pintech pad with the sensor in the middle, you get a lot more sensitivity out of it. So if you want to do double stroke rolls, like the long red roll in the middle of Train Kept a Rollin', you can do that with just fast double strokes anywhere on the head. And it's going to pick up every one of them. Now the Roland pad will do the same thing, but if you notice on the screen, I don't have to hit it very hard to get that really strong spark. But I do over here. That same force, I have to hit it much harder to get those sparks out of the velocity sensitivity in the game. Now if you have an eDrum kit, this 8-inch and also the 12-inch are available in dual zone versions too, so you'll get not only a head trigger, but you'll get a rim trigger as well. And finally, we'll talk a little bit about price. The 8-inch Pintech ConcertCast single zone mesh pad sells for $160. Compare that to the Roland PDX-8, which sells for $220. Now there are also 10-inch and 12-inch versions of this exact same drum pad. The 10-inch sells for $184, and the 12-inch sells for $208. So if you want to go a little bit bigger, they don't cost that much more. Wrapping up, if you've got an Ion drum rocker and you're looking to pick up a mesh trigger pad to replace your snare or replace any of the others, or if you have any other eDrum kit and you want to pick up a mesh upgrade for one of your pads, the Pintech 8-inch ConcertCast single zone or even the dual zones are a great value for what they are. I found them to be extremely sensitive. They were a joy to play on. They're very quiet, very sensitive. They pick up everything that I played on them. The sensitivity knob is a fantastic feature, especially if you're playing on an eDrum kit, one of the lower model ones that doesn't have very many adjustments on it. So you can head on over to New England Music Supply, click on the drum triggers section over on the left, or you can pick these up at any other online retailer that sells Pintech products.